the people are not masked. They are just not meant to be a part of my life every day, all day, with a purpose. And that is a tough pill to freaking swallow. Hello, hello, hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Soul and Grace podcast. I know y'all thought Erica Badu was up in this thing, but she's not. I was just listening to that whole mixtape that she dropped 2016, I think. Yeah. Because I was still in Dallas. I don't know. Great mixtape. Anyways, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Soul and Grace podcast. Hello. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I hope that you are doing and feeling well. I'm just going to go ahead and try to excuse myself right now. If you hear me sniffling or like a little scratchy, apparently I have allergies, and those allergies have been showing out a little bit, at least like this on and off cough. And for some reason at night, it's like a little bit more present than it is during the day. I don't know what the hell that's about, but I need this hot and cold and hot and cold and the cold and the hot to just stop. I'm ready for the hot, because I don't know about y'all, but at least here for the few days that we've gotten that are super, super sunny and beautiful, those 60-degree days feel like 80 in Colorado. So I'm ready for this hot as summer. Obviously, not with this hat, but I know it was fun. It was like 40, 50 today, and then in the afternoon it got warmer. And then right now it's nighttime, so I'm in the house. It's not like who gonna whoop me though? Nobody. Anyways, yeah, welcome back to another episode, another week. Yeah, what's been going on with me? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Honestly, just surviving. Not surviving life, but at least I just survived my cycle, and God, we'll get a little bit more into that today. Not necessarily details on my cycle or anything like that, but just the chaos that comes with those 2 weeks. Because I don't care what nobody say. You get 2 weeks of really, man, you might get a week and a half of good, genuine high energy as a woman. And that's when your body is wanting you to mate or look for a mate and do all of the things. Between the emotional fog, the luteal phase, the cycle coming through, and all of the things life. Yeah, this week has been, it feel like survival of the thickest, honestly. Oh, and my kid had a little cold that I'm more than positive he picked up from the freaking trampoline park, which really sucks because it's like every time I expose him to people's little creatures, no, I'm just kidding. Every time, but seriously though, I'm sure most parents, they can agree. When your baby, well, my kid doesn't go to school yet, but I know a lot of my friends, they got kids in school, and people that I know, they're always like, oh, just wait until they're in school. It's going to be worse, blah, blah, blah. I can't handle it. Anytime my kid gets sick, and it's rare, but it set the house back 3 years, baby. So I do have PTSD when it comes to those things. And even like with my nose and it's not even a scratchy throat, but it's like a cough. So I think it's allergies. I don't know, but best believe I am taking my nettle. I'm on my mullein. I am trying to do all of the things. The next step I would like to try is maybe some bee pollen, because I read that works. And then, yeah, I don't know. I know you can get it on a yogurt bowl or something, but I'll go to Natural Grocers and go see about getting some. God knows it's probably gonna be like $30 a container for this big, but we'll do anything, right? Because I'm just not used to any allergies, and surprisingly, with Colorado being so dry this year, the fact that I'm even having any issues is very interesting to say the least. But like growing up, I don't remember ever having issues. And the reason why I would remember that is because I grew up where it was humid as hell. So I would imagine that I would have known if I suffer from allergies or not by now. But look at where we are. But yeah, anyways, I could rant about my pre-period and all of that stuff. I'm not gonna bore y'all with that. Let's go ahead and get into our self-love deck that is looking a little spinning down here. Self-love deck, baby. If you want to fall in love, more in love with yourself, you should check. Wow, I'm so glad I recorded that. And now, I don't believe that we are on level 1, but we're just gonna start there this week. I don't know why I can't remember. I skipped a day. You guys are not getting a podcast on, or this episode on a Sunday. You're getting it on a Wednesday. So, child, the next let me not. I'm so grateful for all of the opportunities and the journeys that or the journey that I will be on the next couple of weeks. So pray with me. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do like bulk recording to keep my consistency flowing yet. I'll get more into that, why I would break that. But anyways, we're gonna start with our level 1, which is our past. This deck, if you're new here, is labeled 1, 2, 3, past, present, and the future. Yeah, they also make a game called We Are Not Really Strangers. I ramble about it every episode, so go back and listen to another one. But let's go ahead and pull from card number 1. That's crazy. I will never show it again without making sure that top is on the box. So yeah, past. Boop, boop, boop. Today's question is, how would you prepare your younger self for their first heartbreak? How would I have prepared myself for my first heartbreak? Y'all know I don't like to talk about relationship things on the show, but I'm gonna share this because I doubt that someday this man will ever see this. I just doubt it. I just really doubt it. And I do feel like if he ever saw it, I don't even know. But nonetheless, how I would prepare myself for my first heartbreak? I feel like we have to rehash it to understand what I would have did differently. And I feel like if I could have prepared myself for my first heartbreak, the first thing I would tell myself is there's plenty fish in the sea. You know there's plenty fish in the sea. That's the first thing I would say. That's like the first, and like brush it off my shoulder. So, but I don't know. Is this before or after? Like, does this prevent the heartbreak? Because if I had to tell myself anything that could have prevented my first heartbreak, it probably would have been, I need to be very upfront and honest about who and what I would like to be with. Because not that I didn't want to be with him, I loved him. I was supposed to marry him. I was supposed to run away in the sunset with him. And now all the flashbacks to like how crazy. Oh yeah, the first 3 things would be there's plenty of fish. Number 2, be honest about not really knowing what you want at 16, 17, 18. And then the third thing would be, I feel like the third thing would be, don't mess up a good thing with your curiosity. Yeah, I don't know, but Blake, if you ever see this, I was head over heels for you. And I hope you're doing good in life. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the show. There is no gotta happen for the week. Take your herbs so you can beat the pollen in the air, baby. yeah, let's go ahead and get into soul search. So as we walk into soul search today, there are a few different things that I want to talk about in soul search today. So you're gonna see me looking down a lot because today's soul search is straight from the heart, straight from the soul, straight in. I'm in the booth. No drugs, no Stevie, no none of that. Okay, this is all like down there diary, not even diary, just the truth, journaling. Because I will say the magical thing about your period and PMSing and all of the things is your body has all of this stored energy and hormones and stuff that it is trying to work through and trying to release different toxins and things. I don't gotta tell. If you're listening to this, I expect for you to know how your uterus works and how your period work. And if you do not, I'm happy to do an episode on that at some point, but not today. So as we jump into the episode, there's a few things, but so I was having a lot of thoughts and just right now while I have this extra, like on top of journaling, I also have my morning pages, so I've been doing all of that. I feel like I have enough clarity in my mind to, or not clarity, but I have enough confidence in myself and just my overall being, a lot of confidence in my overall being, that a lot of what I have been feeling was not because of PMS. It was just a lot of stuff that's just coming to head or coming up, right? So one of the things I felt like I've one of the questions that I feel like I finally got an answer to, sadly it took about 19 years. And maybe I wasn't questioning this for the whole 19 years, but if I look back in time and I just analyze all of my relationships that I've had with people, not dating relationships, but just friendships and different connections, right? One of the questions that I feel like I have the answer to right now is, why does God continue to send masked people? And in case you didn't hear it, because my list masked people into my life. Why does God continue to send masked people into my life? And I'm sure everybody probably wonders this thing, but in a different way. You might wonder, why do I keep getting sent fake people or people who are not aligned with anything that I want or find interest in? Why? I feel like it's a very common question, and it's a very common question that I have not lately, but it's a common question that after a lot of realization, I guess, like why is that the challenge that I have to deal with people? Why do they come into my life presenting themselves and looking a certain way, and then when you take their clothing off, or when you take the mask off, or when they take the mask off, they are completely different, and they are actually afraid of you and whatever potential and things that you have. I feel like my whole life I've attracted masked people. I know it's like, well, if you're saying you weren't necessarily thinking about these things earlier on, how can you say that they're masked? But I immediately think about all of the people that I had, and there is not that I had falling outs with them. They had falling out with me, or they had issues with me. They had problems with me, and not everybody know how to direct that shit or have a conversation or do the things. But it's a very common thing. It's a very common thing that I've dealt with. Of course, only with women, not only with women, but I do have great female friends. I do, and off top, I can think about 10 of them off top, all different areas, but I can think about 10 of them, and to me that's a good number. But then I think about all the other failed connections, or any connections that just didn't work out. Maybe we just went ghost on each other or whatever. People ghosting me does not really bother me too much, because I understand we got a lot going on in life. But as I do get older, ghosting is okay if you still follow up with people and you still like check in on them at some point. If you never check in on them, it's not ghosting. It's like literally just like you just don't care about that person. You still need to make some type of point to reach out, see what they're doing, see if they're alive, make sure they're good in some shape, form, or fashion. But yeah, not all of the relationships in my life, but the friends, the failed connections. I'm just gonna call them that, failed connections. Now, I'm not saying all the relationships in my life have been with masked people, but the friends, right? I believe the real answer is that I'm not necessarily being sent masked people. I'm more so just befriending and getting attached to people that are only supposed to be there for the moment. I'm just supposed to be there to experience them for that moment and then let them go on about their business and I go on about my life. The people are not masked. They are just not meant to be a part of my life every day, all day, with a purpose. And that is a tough pill to freaking swallow. Like, they were never meant to be a part of your life. Sadly, I think so many women get caught up in this, not even just from a friend standpoint, but like definitely a dating standpoint. You know, I know women don't like to hear it, but sometimes you were meant to just be a one night stand, or that was the situation, period. It was just only supposed to be a one night stand. That's it. Maybe a few times then. Just for that moment. An experience just for that moment. Continuing these situationships has done nothing but either let me down and disappoint me. And even saying that out loud was crazy. Like, as I was writing it and like, or typing it, it was interesting because yeah, it literally either hurts me or leaves me feeling disappointed in the people or person, better yet. When in reality, the disappointment should be directed at myself for trying to keep these people in my life. The pieces do not fit. They don't fit my puzzle, at least. And that is just... And the other thing too is like, signs be there. Signs definitely be there. And what I do want to talk about signs a little bit, because yeah, some of the things are things that some of your regular close friends might say to you, and it's kind of just like, you probably didn't even know, or you don't even know that you got an op sitting right across from you. But in the artist's way, Julia calls them crazy makers, or she calls these type of people crazy makers. Oh, I left my book. Oh my God. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Now, see, I got my phone is locked after hours. I don't play that. I still be up till 2 a.m. But look, ask for more time. A minute should be good. Crazy makers are people who, for one reason or another, have trouble respecting their own or others' boundaries. Crazy makers manipulate others by putting them in a lose-lose situation. And another thing, let's see. Here we go. Like, it's so locked, I have to unlock it every time I want to hit a different page. It's the crazy makers. Okay. Crazy makers are those personalities that create storm centers. They are often charismatic, frequently charming, highly inventive, and powerfully persuasive. Crazy makers are the kind of people who can take over your whole life. I'm reading this too fast because I had some crazy makers in my life, and I say had past tense because y'all getting the fuck up out of here. Period. Crazy makers like drama. If they can swing it, they are the star. Everyone around them functions as supporting cast, picking up their cues, their interests, and their entrances and their exits from the crazy makers' crazy whims. Now, how many people do you know like that in your life? And I'm also add some other definitions to that just to say, how many people can you think of when you have now heard the term crazy maker, and you've heard the definition or examples of what they are. Because I can think about a few. And the sad part about being able to think about a few and coming across this chapter in this damn book is simply it be the people that you want or wanted and you could see go to the top with you, or you feel they could go to the top with you. And sometimes what I'm realizing is a lot of crazy makers don't even realize that they are the fire to the flame. I don't know, the fire to the, y'all are the chaos. And you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. Maybe you can't think of none in this moment, but keep this term in mind and come back to this video when you point it out. Because I promise you, there's one or two or three. Hell, your mom or your dad might be a crazy maker in your life. And it's a sad truth that you have to acknowledge someday. But yeah, I can't believe it took me 19 years. And the reason why I'm saying 19 is because a lot of the stuff like right now that I'm reading, a lot of it says that our awareness of who we are starts around like 4 or 5 and all of those things. But I would say not until 8 or 10 years old for girls, especially because by that point in time, most little girls they look a little early puberty, different things, being around more groups of girls at school. I remember what I was doing. I mean, honestly, one of my childhood best friends, Nisha, you probably watching this. Hey girl. I remember when we were in like 4th grade and just how cliquey we all used to be. Immense, actually. But so when I say 19 years, I'm thinking back like I'm not 19. I am 29. So 19 years ago I would be 10. And at that point in time I was in 5th grade, I think. I was definitely in 5th grade. But I think about all the different thoughts and just things. At the age 10, I started doing my own hair because I had to have my mom used to do those bumps at the bottom of my hair and then in my bangs and all of those things. So just like I was very self-aware. So I'm thinking about it at that point. And then I think about how hard I used to focus on having friends or making times for my friends. Or I remember at some point, like with Nisha, I used to be over her house damn near every weekend. I'd be with my best friend or whatever at that. But and as I'm saying it, like more and more is coming out. I really love podcasting right now while it's like just a hobby and all the things, because it really is an open diary that I'm kind of letting my future listeners in on and my current listeners in on. But yeah, I hate that it took me 19 years to figure it all out, but here I am and the dots are finally connecting. Even being a person that has said to many people and my damn self that everybody can't go, I am just now realizing and understanding what that really means. Everybody cannot go and everybody really is not invited. They're not. So even when we are meeting people, or you like me, you are a super friend of friends, damn near, because yeah, I am charming as fuck, but I am charming and genuine in things and all of these things. And honestly, that just brings me to another point. The things that the crazy makers in my life have said over the last 19 years of my life. And it's crazy because yeah, it has been that long since it's kind of been like the same things. But guess what? The same shit that is being said is never coming from people who have ever spent any actual real time with me. It's so crazy. It's like outsiders, really. It's always the people that have no real idea about who I am, and they don't even be wanting to get to know. So it's like, it's crazy, you crazy maker. You. What a shame. So now that I feel like I confidently understand everyone can't go, mind you, I'm also getting this 3 months before my 30th. And I also appreciate the fact that I am a lot of these things, and I'm doing this journey. I'm keep looking down like I got the book, but the fact that I'm doing the artist's way right before I hit 30, all I'm saying is like the book itself, there's I don't want to call it magic, but the synchronicity and everything else that damn book talk about, do not read that book unless you are ready to dive deep into who you are, to work on building the confidence and courage and all of the things. Like, it's much more than a creative journey. That shit really is spiritual, and it very much is like, so far, like, I'm walking into week 5. It is a little scary, very scary, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes when we get to the next part of Soul Search. What I want to warn everybody of is, right now everybody has gotten this version of me that is very much mind my business and out the way, right? And that's how I'm gonna be regardless. That's how I'm gonna be regardless. But I fear that at the end of this 12 weeks, all that shit that you think, I probably will be. Because it's not that the book is giving me more confidence. It's more so just helping me get all of the feelings out and piece the feelings together for myself, figure out the whys, the hows, point out if this is shit that I want to change for real or not. When I make a list of the things, and I actually had to make a list because for me, it's not even always, because this is not something I always hear. Most people, they have no issues with me, but for the people that find I'm just a little too happy or I just seem like life too good, I actually made a fucking list, right? Because I just wanted to make a list to just see. Now, no, I don't drive no Benz truck yet. I don't got no multi-million-dollar mansion. I don't even think I want one of them, because if you have a home, you already know what it's like to clean that. I'm grateful for all of the things, but I don't think I'm gonna need a big house. Things that people have said, better yet, the things that people point out that they think make me think that I'm better than everybody else. Baby, that shit ain't even icing on the cake. I made a fucking list. Excuse my language. I made a list. People focus on the wrong, they focus on the outside, and they have literally no idea who I really am. And the crazy thing is, I really wasn't acknowledging it, I think, because you're just so blind when you're just on your own path, you in your own club, and they are heading from the outside and they can't even get in. And better yet, you wanted them to get in. And crazy enough, that's why they still outside the club. That's why it never clicked. That's why they made little snarky comments. That's why they kept their distance, because they were never meant to get into the fucking club. Now back to this list I had to make before I move on to part 2 of Soul Search. I think, and I've talked about this so much because it is a big part, conquering the naysayers and what they have to say, and maybe not even naysayers, but just the people outside the club, conquering those voices, getting them out your head, even if you didn't know that they existed or whatever, is a major part of your self-discovery. I think it's a major part of just being human too, because most of the time people don't know you. They don't know you, and they don't know what you've been through, what you did to get to where you are, or anything. And 9 times out of 10, assumption is their only answer or option. Back to this list. Now, I've been told I talk white, I'm bougie, I've been told all of these things from a very young age. And it's always like, it's not people that are close to me, or maybe they have to get to know me from the outside looking in. When I say I am who I am online and offline, high energy, charming, nurturing, strong, minded, a yapper, a businesswoman, all these things, I present as one person to everybody. Unless it's business, and I just need to present as business because there's no pleasure there. For some reason, those are the things that people will rather focus on rather than who I am actually. And maybe because they don't need to know, I don't know. But after making the list, I'll be damned if I ever let someone's like, I really don't care now, like now already, but now I definitely don't care because now I just feel like if someone feels a certain way or views me as any of those things at this big old age of 29, now it's just kind of like, okay, you think that. And I guess the newest one is just like, because of my son's father being white, like, I think I'm better. And the craziest thing about that, and mind you, I had to debunk that to my mom too, because you know how moms are, they just say little things, and it's like, what I've realized, I'm not even just saying this because my son's father is white. Y'all give white people too much damn power. Too much power. Too much power. And while I haven't yet to run into a white person, they give us too much power too because they be scary. My people that look like me, that see people that look like us, that date outside of their race, it has, for most of us, I think, because I do know some people do feel like that, but for the most part, the outsiders are putting way more power into that shit than the person in the relationship. I also feel like maybe I'm just wrong, but mostly I feel like that's more of a black guy thing. And again, for the simple fact of giving white people too much power. I would never think that I am better than anyone else because of who I'm with, who I had a baby with, being in their part of their communities or wanting to be a part of none of that. Dating someone of your opposite race does not make you bigger, better, badder, anything. It doesn't. So I just want to say, for anyone that thinks in that way or thinks that, I know there's a whole like, oh, the oppressor, blah blah blah, all of those things, those are valid conversations, but if you just simply open your mouth to say someone thinks they're better than me or whoever else because they have a white counterpart, you probably need to seek help fast. And this is to everybody. Because it doesn't work like that. And for me myself, I could never. And maybe might just be a little bit big-headed of me, but he should be lucky he got a little of this DNA. He just dropped a little royalty into your bloodline. The fuck? Anyway, I just want to say that, but as we close out this first part of Soul Search, yeah, fuck the crazy makers. Fuck everybody. Live your life. And it just is very unfortunate that people will show up and convince you that they are strong. Maybe it's not convince you, but it's not fair that people think that they can come into your life and portray themselves as being whole when in all actuality there may be a hole in them. Yeah, as I get out of this first part of of Soul Search, fuck the crazy makers. Okay, everyone is not meant to go, and as soon as they give you any reason or anything to believe that they are not meant to go, believe them. Just believe them. And then if you don't know, you have the curiosity, because for me, again, it's always a mask on. So I don't even see it. And because majority of the time I am in my own world doing for everything else that I have going on in my life, you might just only catch them on their up days. So yeah, be aware, be very aware. Let's go ahead and get into the second part of Soul Search, which is my Artist Way update. I told you guys when I first introduced the book that I was not going to talk about it that much on there, but I felt like it was super important for me to come and talk about it today or on today's episode, because while there has been so much great synchronicity and the morning pages and things are going good, week 3, or better yet, no, week 3 going into week 4 was interesting. It was very interesting because, like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, the luteal phase definitely came through. I just finished week 4, and to be completely honest, I told y'all this book is not for the weak. Do not pick up this book and think you're gonna hop on this journey and just think, oh, it's gonna be. First of all, I don't even think you're gonna get the same results as Dolce. Not the same results in the sense of success, but do not compare your journey to hers at all, because it's all going to be different and it's supposed to be different. Y'all have 2 different life experiences. But yeah, this journey is not for the weak. Never would I have expected like my cycle to come and just wreck my progress in a way, but it did come in and bleed on my creativity. Not even gonna lie. The middle of week 3, I felt like I was hit with a ton of bricks. It started with me. One, my week 3 artist date, I did not complete. And I guess in a way I did complete it because it could just be an hour doing whatever you're doing. I actually started a project. You'll see it. If you follow me on TikTok and stuff, you'll see that in my week 3 reflection and whatnot. But I started it. I would be lying if I didn't say that the project is still sitting on my dining table, which is not good for me. I'll tell you why in just a few moments. The pre-period space where everything feels just a little off ruined my consistency in a way. Now I did my task. I kind of did my artist date. I did do my morning pages that weekend. Or that Monday. Yeah, or that Monday. I was feeling tired, mooding, craving rest. Honestly, I did not want to use my brain. I did not want to think. I was super irritable. And the thing about the one thing about it, like I don't want to blame it completely on this, but this was the first time in a minute where I actually had PMS before my cycle actually came through. So that was interesting because I just felt like the universe was trying to try me. Like the way my mind was just like churning things out. Ridiculous. Very ridiculous. I was irritated by everything. Every little thing. And then not finishing the artist date. The reason why that's a bummer, a huge bummer to me, is because I already have like a graveyard of unfinished canvases, right? The goal is to have, like, I have at least 5 paintings that are just this they're this close, but they need the final finishing touches, and they've been like that for a while. So me starting my artist date and not finishing it just kind of foreshadowed where I will be again if I don't get a hold of making time for myself, or making time, or making sure, maybe not making time for myself, but just making sure I complete whatever I start for that artist date. You know, that feeling of tension between rest and feeling guilty for not needing it. But like for a woman during her cycle, she really does need that. So yeah, that was me fully. Then at the same time, the task for week 4, like going into it, now all of this lasted for like the middle, that Wednesday of week 3, and then going through last week of week 4. Going into week 4, there was a task of media deprivation for that week. And the book that I have on her website, it is updated to media deprivation. Excuse me. In the book, it says reading. When I first saw that, I'm like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. I mean, like, I got a couple of books I wanted to read, but hey, I can always, check them out again, whatever. I don't need to turn them in, or just like when I read reading deprivation, I'm like, oh, okay, no reading, no scrolling, no nothing, like not scrolling, but no reading. Well, I made it the first 2 days, and then I'm looking on the website on Julia's website, and I see media deprivation. I'm like, well, shit, I've been still kind of scrolling here and there, or scrolling after I would post whatever I need to post. And the thing is, you're not supposed to do that. So at the same time, I had committed to media deprivation. PMS took over from week 3 and then into week 4. A roller coaster. But yeah, no endless scrolling, no doom clicking, just space, silence, and stillness, and handling whatever you need to get done, right? Well, those first couple of days, I was just thinking about the reading part of it. I was not necessarily thinking about the media part, or at least like when I needed to create do my outline for my show, edit clips or edit videos. I didn't really think about that. And mind you, while I have a love-hate relationship with social media, I know how to post and get off, but I just didn't do that. Started off great, but after 3 days, it got a little iffy. Do you know how much media is around you? Do you? It's everywhere. It's on the TV, it's on your phones, it's on the radio. We don't listen to the radio, but like music, different movies, different things. We all like that stuff. I all like that. I really like that stuff too. And while some of us, like most of the time we see it, we get inspiration from these things. The whole point of the media deprivation thing in week 4 is to shut out all the outside voices and outside world from your creative process so that it doesn't taint it. I failed. I don't know. I'm going to say I failed, but it's not that I failed, but more so I'm just not happy with how that week went. Now, will I do another week again? I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I look into, will I try to incorporate one day a week moving forward? Yes. Do you know how obsessed and stuck to our phones we are? Very, 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 very. Do you know how hard it is not to go, like, to have a question pop up in your mind and then immediately run to the internet to look up an answer or see something, or maybe you read something online the day before and it crossed your mind, so you want to get the update on it or whatever. Do you know how hard it is not to do that? Very. I could say I failed, but I will not. This journey and the task for this creative, spiritual, recovery is not necessarily meant to shame you when you don't do things or when you fall off the path, more so to help you acknowledge it and help you get back on track. I always say, like, as long as you can acknowledge it, you doing right. You are on the right path. Now, if you keep repeating it, yes, there's a problem. But if you can at least stop and acknowledge where you went wrong, that's the first step to your change or changes that you want to make. The journey and the task are not meant to discourage us, but more bring forth truths. And that's all I keep getting in. Again, like I said, don't buy this book if you're not ready for it to bring you questions for you to answer. Because there are a lot of the questions at a few of the chapters that I didn't necessarily have answers to, but I can't stop thinking about finding the answer to them. Like, one of the things that I'm still stuck on is like, list 5 heroes or 5 people that 5 heroes, I think. 5 people you could look up to. I could not think of 5 people that I could look up to. And mind you, people that I could look up to, that I actually have something to look up to. Not like my grandma, I look up to her because of blah blah blah. My mom, I look up to her because of blah blah blah. I don't have 5 people that come to mind. I don't know why. I'm also trying to figure out, is it because, once you find out something, it just kind of brings that person to like almost a regular person level. I don't know, my mind keeps drawing a blank, but yeah, I don't have that person. So yeah, it was like this book is really helping me answer questions that I never even considered answering or thinking about really at all. As far as media deprivation, I think we're all addicted. It's the damn phones, like your mama used to say. It's the damn phones. It is. It really is. And what's crazy is like my work phone is an Android. Maybe I need to just get an Android because I mean, not that I hate it, it's a good one, but it's like nothing about it be making me want to scroll and do anything outside of doula stuff on it. Instead of saying I failed, I've decided to try again. It's the damn phones. But instead of saying I failed, I've decided to try again. If I cannot dedicate at least one day to myself, something is wrong. I think that's the purpose of the book, and maybe even your self-discovery, self-care, wellness, well-being, whatever journey you want to call it. I think it's a big part of that too. Defining time for yourself and your wants, needs, desires, passions, or whatever it is that you want is very important. And nobody else gonna do it for us. Nobody's gonna do it for us. So like in this specific book, or I remember reading different comments, and you can see these comments from people that have tried this book out and read it, or like started it and quit. Many people say that the task at the end of the chapters are too much for them to do, and they find it to be annoying. And what I'm realizing is these people probably just don't have enough time for themselves. Like a lot of people saw online are talking a lot of about her as well, which I also think is just like people being on a different whatever type A, B, C, or D you are, right? Because yes, this is a white woman that wrote this book. One of the Reddit forums I read, they were like, oh, she's in Taos, New Mexico. If you know about anything about New Mexico, I love it, beautiful state, but there are at least 2 or 3. You gotta have money. You got to have money. Taos, Santa Fe, where artists and stuff are, you got to have money to be out there, and it's not cheap. But people in this forum were talking about how, of course, like her husband, because who she's married to and all of these things, that is how she had the time, or that is how she could afford the time to complete all of these tasks and things like that. But I really do think it's not about how much money or whatever opportunities you have. You have to prioritize that time for yourself. You have to prioritize yourself for yourself. Because otherwise, if you don't prioritize yourself, you're never going to get answers to things about yourself that you really. That is one of the things that I see that they say about her. And I could easily see how people could assume that, because it is to say, I'm going to make time. I'm going to take myself on a date. You don't have to spend money or anything. I'm going to take myself on a walk. I'm going to do this just for myself, only to think about myself in this moment. Whether it's 30 minutes or 20, 30, 40, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever. If you find it hard to get yourself this type of time, I want you to really reevaluate what your life is like right now. Because if you're just saying you don't have time for yourself, but you got time for TikTok, you got time for Instagram, you got time for Facebook, you got time to smoke, you got time to hotbox, you got time to do this, you got time to do that, you got time to go out to the club and shake your ass, but you don't have no time to do something that you just want to do. Yikes. I mean, everything that I've already said, as far as this journey goes for myself, it has been very eye-opening. as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as a doula, as a friend, whoever. My I don't want to say my purpose, but like my whole being right now is very used to and happy to nurture everything and everybody else around me, and myself just enough. I am so guilty of, and not guilty, it's just how I work. I'm happy. I'm very happy to be that person. But as I'm getting older, I'm just recognizing how much more important it is that I get to have the time to myself to do whatever it is, however I want, whenever I want. And I do a lot of that. I really do. But yeah, being all of those things, a homemaker too, and most of my time is given to others, nurturing them. What about nurturing me? What about nurturing you? Not me nurturing you, but you know what I mean? Nurturing yourself. What about that? Only I can make myself a priority. So I have to try again or try the 1-day method. And I think I'm going to just try again. Also, like I said, I'm preparing for a few different things. So I don't want to say it was almost impossible. Like I couldn't put those things off anymore. But a lot of those things needed to get handled. So maybe I will start with going back one more week. And I suggest it to you guys too. Maybe not a week, but try for a day. What I would suggest is like warn the people in your life. If you are worried about people not being able to reach you or anything like that, tell them, hey, I'm going to be taking a break from my phone and my devices or whatever else. Maybe you only answer or respond to people in the morning and at nighttime. Create some type of block where you don't have to be attached or bound to your device. I've written down so many great ideas, but I haven't really picked up a paintbrush. Yet. I'm mostly saying that's out of self-neglect. Because when I do get the time, after I'm done doing whatever I needed to do and the minimal that I need to do for myself, it is easy for me to feel like I've accomplished everything that I need to do, and boom, I'm just gonna relax. So, and that's part of the reason that I was doing the journey anyways, is just getting out of that comfort zone of like, yay, I've done everything else I needed to do, but I didn't necessarily cater to the other areas of my life that mattered to me as well. So yeah, I'm trying to fix that. I have been consistent with the podcast, but getting into the routine of not only like prioritizing the artist date for myself, but just like that 1 week, that 1 day away from my phone a week would benefit me greatly. Because again, I have all the blocks and stuff on my apps and all of the things, but just a little bit more. Let's work on making it a non-factor on those days. That damn cycle, it made it hard as hell to have the energy to keep going this time. Saying that I have 7 more weeks, I can't let that happen the next time. So yeah, I'm going to work on doing whatever I can do to prevent it. Normally to help with PMS and all of those things before I drink clove tea every day, and I definitely skipped out because I was taking like some other stuff, not for the same thing. But if you're ever looking for a cure for your PMS, now when you're on it, it's not going to be a cure for them besides like pain relief. But prior to that luteal phase, definitely drink some clove tea. It helps, and it's really good if you like it, if you can get past the flavor. But I really like it. I don't know, maybe you will too if you haven't already tried that. But yeah, I cannot let the PMS take over, or the PMDD or whatever it is take over at all. So we will be redoing that again. We will be. I do not want to be a woman defeated by her period. I hear how people talk about their stuff, but I have worked myself out of a lot of those cramps and heavy periods and all of that stuff. It is literally just the PMS before it actually happens. I can't have that. I'm not gonna be defeated by my period. I refuse. Instead of judging myself about struggling the last week and a half while I'm trying to do something that seems so big to myself, I just simply kept reminding myself that this is a part of this whole shit. This is a part of the whole vision and the bigger picture, and future self for real. Not only am I working through ego, this, you know what ego gonna do. You know what ego going to do is gonna psych you out of shit. Instead of letting it psych me out of this whole situation, I just kept telling myself, this is the magic happening right before my eyes. I am not a victim. Actually, I'm healing. And of course, you still do your morning pages. You still do everything that you need to do. I was not prepared. I was not prepared at all. I may not have floated through the week with ease at all, but I stayed with myself and I acknowledged the weak areas. We journaled about it. We were very proactive about what I want to do and some things that I want to try in the future. But yeah, I acknowledge my weak areas and I said with that shit. That is growth. Enough rambling about me though. Let's go ahead and get into Queen and close out the show. As we close out the show, I want to leave y'all with one thing that I wrote down. We do not always have to kill the week or the month. And sometimes it's just not a good month for people. Sometimes it's just not a good month. We do not always have to kill the week. Sometimes being present in a storm is the best thing that we could do. If your body needs rest, give it. If your body needs quiet, don't fear it. And if you ever find yourself halfway through a goal thinking, I'm not doing this right, or damn, I messed up, or damn, I skipped another day, damn, this, blah, 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 blah. Remember, you're doing it your way. And that's enough. Also remember, your way is not going to look the same as your friends, your best friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever. It's not going to, is your way is never going to resemble anybody else's way. And that's something we all got to get comfortable with. Our lives are not a reflection of everybody else's. And we don't need to be let down by that. We do not. Honor your rhythms. Always choose grace over guilt. Y'all know I love saying that. Lastly, remember that trying, feeling, and surviving are all a part of becoming. It's all a part of it, okay? Fallouts, everything. It's all a part of it. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It really does. And it makes you wiser. Why don't we say that? What doesn't kill you makes you wiser. Why don't old people say that? Because it does. It makes you wiser because it's a lesson learned. I have no idea why they don't say that, but they need to though. I probably will start telling my kid that because it really does make you wiser when things don't, I don't want to say when they don't go the way that you want, but where there is a lesson, there is a blessing. Just consider that blessing something that makes you wiser, bigger, and better than the rest. Anyways, that's all I got to yap about this episode. As always, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me at Soul Plus Grace on Instagram and TikTok, and follow the podcast itself at the Soul and Grace podcast. And you can find the podcast on YouTube at Soul and Grace. I don't know if I need to add the on there. Are y'all having issues finding it on there? Because we need to run up those subscribers. But anyways, yeah, Soul and Grace on YouTube. It will all be tagged down below in the description box. And make sure you tune in on Spotify if you want to see the visual early, if you want to hear the audio, or tune in on Mondays when I upload the visuals to YouTube. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Soul and Grace podcast. I will see you next week. Bye.